Hello there, my name is Michael Rank and this is my lightning talk about graphic design. I'll be talking about graphic design on the web, including the history of design, some basic hints on how to design, and providing resources to help get you started on your way. I'll have my contact information at the end of the presentation in case you have any comments or questions you want to throw my way. The web started out as nothing more than a utilitarian tool. Sites were there to provide information. It was, as Sandesh Rulux calls in his article, A Brief History of Web Design for Designers, the dark ages of web design. Any quote-unquote design came from using ASCII art and tab keys to create images. The world loved ASCII art in the early days of web design. Things were shaken up in 1995 with the introduction of tables in JavaScript. Tables led to the innovation of slicing designs. Designers were now able to create more intricate designs using tables to align things to their tastes. Those designs were sliced and diced by the web editor into separate images and tables. While tables were great, they were also finicky. With one wrong keystroke, the entire design could look like an unfinished jigsaw puzzle. JavaScript also gave more freedom from the rules of HTML. The one main downside was it was a separate process operating outside of HTML. For most people using the web, I think we all know what JavaScript was mostly used for, and that was pop-up after pop-up. In 1996, Flash was introduced. First owned by Macromedia and now by Adobe, Flash allowed complete freedom for the designer. Everything was put into one container, meaning issues like font usage were a thing of the past. Every aspect of a web page could be interactive, from simple animations to the entire menu system. This didn't mean Flash was problem-free. Search sites couldn't catalog pages made up of only Flash, and Flash itself was a huge energy hog. Designers also had to hope that users kept their Flash processor up to date, or else the page wouldn't work. Today, fewer and fewer people use Flash for design, turning to HTML5 instead. Apple stopped using Flash with its very first iPhone, and in 2015, Chrome and Firefox no longer support Flash due to a major security flaw in the program. CSS was invented in 1998. Unlike Flash, though, CSS was not a programming language. It was a declarative language telling the HTML how to behave. It provided designers with even more options that fit more organically with the original code. Even at its simplest, CSS allowed designers to carry the same style page to page without needing to copy the code. It wasn't until 2000 that CSS really took off, though. It was considered quite buggy, and web browsers were slow to adapt to this new language. Responsive and flat design was introduced in 2010. Responsive web design is mostly known for its use on mobile phones. It allows for multiple website designs that automatically fit whatever screen on which it's being viewed. Flat design was a return to simpler, more streamlined pages. Flat design ditched the bells and whistles. The focus was on content again. The web design brought crisper, sharper edges to layouts. Backgrounds were high-quality images or even video. Finally, this past year, Google introduced an evolution of flat design called material design. This style of design uses shadows to create depth to web pages, while maintaining the flat design ideas. Now, I can't explain to you how to be an artist, but I can tell you the 3 required tools you'll need. You'll need a pencil to sketch out your design ideas, photo editing software, and a what you see is what you get, otherwise known as WYSIWYG, or text editor. Oh, you'll need 4 things. You'll need to know how to use HTML and CSS too. A blank piece of paper can be intimidating. It can be used for anything, but now it's being used to get your thoughts out there. You may have some guidelines from your company, but put it all out there. There are no mistakes at this point. Disney Imagineers call this blue sky thinking. Nothing is dismissed because one idea can lead to another. Where can you find pencils? Literally everywhere. Look around you. You'll find a pencil. A photo editor will help get your sketches and ideas into a more structured, final idea. Photo editors can be overwhelming with all the buttons and options available, so I would recommend finding a photo editor and see if there are tutorials available. Photoshop is the most popular among artists, although their conversion to a subscription-based service has caused competition to start popping up, including several high-quality free ones, some of which will be available in my resources later. And finally, you'll need a WYSIWYG editor to put it all together. I'd personally recommend a WYSIWYG editor over a text editor, just so you can easily see what you're doing in real time. You will not need to open the file in a separate window and constantly reload it. When creating a web page, keep in mind some of the principles of graphic design. Grouping objects together, keep the eye attracted to the message, is called proximity. Alignment is aligning elements in a visually and readably attractive way. Repetition of elements on the page can be visually appealing, and among storytellers is also a way to draw the audiences in. Contrast between things like the background and the main content can make the message stand out all the more. White space. It's okay to keep the page blank sometimes. White space can create a striking image as well as a full page. Now, before I go, I wanted to share the names of some free and commercial photo and HTML editors. Each of these have appeared on several lists as the best of the bunch. Free photo editors include Pixlr, Adobe Photoshop Express, GIMP, which stands for New Image Manipulation Program, and Paint.net. Pay editors include Adobe Photoshop, Affinity Photo, Pixelmator, and PaintShop Pro. Free HTML editors include Jimdo, Cydi, WebStarts, Yola, and WebNode. Pay editors include Adobe Dreamweaver, Weebly, Wix, Squarespace, Website Builder, Webs, and IM And that wraps up my lightning talk. Graphic design isn't something that can be learned in one day. It's a constantly evolving practice, so it's important to keep up with the newest trends. Some people go to school for years to try and master graphic design, and even then they still have to keep learning. But when you start, the best thing I can say is trust your eyes. They know what looks good and what is appealing to them. Available to you are all of my resources listed here. They'll also be available in the forums in a PDF format. And here is my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And I just want to say thank you for listening.